Hi, welcome to Shoot the Breeze Comics. I'm Paul Smurden, and we are going to look at episode 2 of Across the Ponds Trade Review. Let's go. Okay, so DC and Dynamite have teamed up to give us two heroes who operate out of the darkness and have both been around since the 1930s. Batman and the Shadow, the Murder Geniuses. Story is by Scott Snyder and Steve Orlando. And I'm looking forward to running through this story with you. Hi, so let's start with the prologue. The story starts in Gotham City. It is wintertime, and Mr. Barry O'Neill has donated money to make other people's lives better in a crime neighborhood. Bruce and Commissioner Gordon are in attendance. The party is crashed by Mr. Blizzard, and he's been sending threatening letters to O'Neill. Bruce changes into Batman and takes out Blizzard quickly. Gordon advises Barry he should have told him about it. And the chapter pretty much ends with a brooding Bruce and a pretty gruesome ending for Barry by a new player in town. Okay, chapter 1. So we see Bruce has climbed the French Alps to meet Henry Ducard. He needs help from his former mentor with a mystery. If we flash back a week ago, Arkham Asylum, where a porter delivers meals to the villains that are imprisoned by the Bat. We follow the porter back to his apartment. Very normal, but he is the victim and slaughtered the same way as the previous victim. Batman arrives, ready to jump on the case, and we soon hear the laughter of the Shadow. They fight, and Shadow mentions a letter from Patrick and disappears. Batman figures out that there is a connection with Lemon Creston and the Shadow, and decides he should start visiting people to confirm his findings, and that takes him to Margot. Bruce follows up a lead from Margot, which takes him to an old kind of safe house, which is being guarded. Bruce fights the porter there, takes him out quite easily, and he finds the hidden faces of the Shadows. So that takes us back to the Alps, where we finally learn that Henry is one of the Shadow's faces, in fact. Dun dun dun! Okay, so chapter 2, the mystery starts to unravel. The Shadow is living inside Batman's mental. Whilst the fight takes place, I wanted to talk about the art. It reminds me of watercolors. Everything is so detailed and thought out, so credit to the artists. Shadow confirms that he indeed wore Creston's face once. For those unfamiliar with the Shadow, we are shown a glimpse of what truly makes him, which is kind of cool. So Batman and the Shadow are after the same killer, the Stag, who is reborn, and the Shadow has trained Bruce through many faces. It appears his old friends Harry and Vincent are both at risk. The Shadow is cold, but I think he does care. Why would he have gone there? And is Batman next? I like how Bruce no longer wants Alfred to call him Master. So the penny drops and Bruce knows who the next victim is. Batman goes in to save the day, but he underestimates his enemy and it goes horribly wrong. But the Shadow was ahead of the game. But is he a hero, or did he just want to take him out? And the Stag wants Shambhala and enter a new player. Oh man, I love a classic villain, and what a player to put on a chessboard, the one and only Joker. So we learn in this chapter that the Stag is the opposite of the Shadow. He takes out the good, whilst the Shadow takes out the evil. Every time the Stag kills, he gets closer to Shambhala. One more death he can enter. The Shadow is all locked up. The best bit about this issue is seeing Alfred's past, the horrors he has seen, Not even Batman knows. A deal was struck between the Stag and Joker. The shadow, we learn, has influenced on many heroes from behind the scenes. It's quite surprising, but Batman is the last. It does not take long for Batman to track down the Joker and the Stag. This time Batman is prepared, but the honest signal and Joker a formidable force at Batman wanting answers leads to his demise. Not his actual demise. According to Shadow, Batman is the Stag's last victim, but only because he is destined to actually become the next Shadow, which is the shocking moment in this issue, which I enjoyed. And I also enjoyed seeing Batman tied up like this with all his enemies surrounding him. That is damn awesome. Okay, one thing that I am absolutely loving is how they are fitting the shadow into Bruce's past without us even knowing. It's pretty cool. So with Batman being held in a burial ground, defeated, and all his enemies watching and gloating, it's up to the Shadow to save the day. Batman tries to play the Stag and Joker off against each other, but they laughed it off just like that Taylor Swift song. So Shadow makes his entrance, but does not kill out of respect for Batman. And Alfred calls the boys in blue for support. The battle is fierce, but it appears to be a distraction. Shadow goes to take out the Joker, but Batman jumps in, because that's what he does. He's still the good guy. But this moment allows the Stag to slip in and stick the knife in. We learn that it's taken 5,040 murders for the Stag to finally reach his goal and enter Shambhala, but will he bring the Joker with him? The boys in blue are waiting for them as they plan to escape. They open fire. Bruce is in a bad way, and it's up to the Shadow to try and save him. There are dead bodies everywhere, and the Stag and Joker pick their next victim, Margot. So Bruce is in a bad way. The Shadow says that there is no hope, and the Stag wounds do not heal, but Alfred's having none of it. But the Shadow is actually correct. The wound returns, and they're only delaying the inevitable. Bruce tagged the Stag so he can now be tracked. But there is more to their enemy. He is not immortal. He is an army. Margot and Harry are in dire danger. So, is this a suicide mission for Batman? And should the student surpass the teacher? They find the same cave that scared Alfred earlier in the story. They read the Stag's story on the walls. Was the Shadow wrong to just keep killing the mortals that wore the Stag's face? Or maybe he should have investigated and found the truth. Joker is intrigued by the Stag's ultimate plan to get into Shambhala. Margot tells them the Shadow is no longer human and does not care about anyone. But a sound of laughter follows. Maybe Margot is wrong. This is a pretty kick-ass fight, and Stag brings out his family. The Stag and Joker reach the door. Batman believes Cranston can be more than he is. Behind door number 1, Shambhala is being burned to the ground. Okay, the final scene. So Bruce Wayne is dead and in Shambhala. Shambhala is a trap to lure the worst, and 2 options, death or redemption. We learn the Stag's true origins. His armies are unended and can finish Shambhala once and for all. It is up to Bruce to prevent this, with the Shadow who is already in the field. The Stag only seeks revenge by destroying Shambhala. The Shadow origins are similar to the Stag, but he seeks redemption. Could Bruce be a better Shadow if he became him? A battle that has gone on for 50 years must end. Bruce Wayne does not accept the gift and is happy to die one day knowing that Batman will live on. The Shadow looks defeated, but Batman has returned to take out his enemies. They debate destroying the ballast torch that ties Shambhala to this dimension so their teachers can be safe. The Shadow will always be damned if this happens, So he has to make the only choice there is and takes the shot. It's over. But the Shadow only sees failure. So, who is the Shadow? Will Batman ever become the Shadow? Can the Shadow become Batman's student instead? Well, let's find out, and I hope for more adventures of Batman and the Shadow. The end. So that is it. The end of the graphic novel gives us some retrospective issue covers. For me, this is a solid 8 out of 10. It is a brilliant story, well thought out. It has great villains, and it has Shadow and Batman bonding, I guess, or building some sort of relationship. I also love the art. I think the art is absolutely beautiful. And just, well done. I want to see more of Batman and the Shadow together. And I look forward to the next installment that this will hopefully be the good start of. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Across the Pond Trade Review. Follow Shoot the Breeze on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as our Facebook Comic Book Outlaws page. Thank you for watching.